I've had some people ask, what happens when I have disability for my shoulder and permanent disability for my knee? So those get added together? Not really. Workers' comp can't make anything simple. In workers' comp, you have one date of injury and you have multiple parts of body. So let's say shoulder, low back, neck, your left knee, your foot, a heart injury, and maybe some hearing damage as well. What happens generally in workers' compensation is that each body part will get rated out for age, occupation, diminished future earning capacity, adjusted for apportionment, and there's a final permanent disability rating. Those then all get combined, but they don't get added. There's a complicated area of the law right now, the kite decision, where you can add impairment or disability ratings rather than combine them. That's the exception, not the rule. Kite is the name of a case, and it's really only if the QME lays out why kite should apply. Complicated area of the law, but the general rule is that permanent disability will get rated out for age, occupation, adjusted for apportionment, and then will get combined with other ratings. So let's say you have 20% permanent disability rating for your shoulder and 20% for your low back. So you have 20 and 20, so you have 40% disability. No, life would be easy if that's how it worked. The combined values chart, I want to think that works out to like 35, 36%. Very strange. If let's say you have 50% permanent disability for your heart and 50% for a horrible low back injury, 50% and 50%, you're 100%? No, not in workers' comp in California. 50% and 50%, the combined values chart works out to like 75% permanent disability. So it gets knocked down. So what happens generally? You start with the highest number, that gets combined with the second highest figure in the combined values chart. I've got the picture up here on the screen of part of that combined value chart table, so you can see how it works. My best recommendation on something like this, either talk to information and assistance or talk to a local attorney if you start having a lot of different body parts that are getting combined. If you are not going to get an attorney, you generally will want to get a rating from the Disability Evaluation Unit. So the DEU, it's a state agency. They have raters that go through the QME report. They will rate out the different body parts, and then they will combine those body parts using the combined value chart. And they often will make notes with regards to errors that the QME or the PTP made, things that are missing in the report. The DEU rater may also ask a judge whether the QME's opinion on apportionment is valid or not. I know that when I served as a judge, most every week I would get a QME report from the DEU, and they would say, what do you think about this QME's apportionment discussion? Is it valid under California law or not? And I would either say yes or no. And the DEU would note that on the bottom of the rating. So if you don't have an attorney, if you're not going to reach out to an attorney, it's generally in your best interest to get that DEU rating, especially because you don't want to trust the adjuster, but also the judge is going to be happier if a settlement comes in with a rating from the DEU as well, because that way the judge is more comfortable knowing that an expert looked at it and it's an independent expert rather than the insurance company. But that will lay it all out. I've had some of my clients that have said, I want to see the DEU rating to see if they did it right. Oh, it's like reading Greek. It just makes no sense at all. It's combined letters, charts, 490, I, 24, 26, 31. Oh, it just makes no sense. But if they do that, then you get a final rating. So if the insurance company says, we're willing to settle based on 22% disability based on the DEU rating, that's very different from the insurance company saying, trust me, it's 22%. We'll just settle based on that. You don't need to get an independent rating. So my recommendation, get that independent rating. That's generally how the combined values chart works. That generally takes place when there's one injury and multiple body parts. So if you have different injuries, those don't usually get combined. You had an injury 2 years ago and an injury now, those are not going to get combined. Those are separate injuries. If you have questions on this video, feel free to drop a comment down below. And if you found the video helpful, hit the like button.